5-3, but Mike Schilt and Dave Roberts got into it on the sideline after Fernando Tatis was hit by a pitch, and then Shohei Ohtani. Royals are in town tonight in San Diego, take on the Padres. Padres currently minus 160 on the money line. Michael Lorenzen will be going for the Royals, while Nick Pivetta will be going for the Padres. And the Pacers have extended the series. We got a Game 7 Sunday night in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City open as early 8.5-point favorites, but all the money is coming in on Indiana. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscriptions ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio, get an extra 5% off.
Check the clock.
What time is it?
It's high noon. Padres versus Dodgers.
It's a fly ball to left center field. This is deep as well. Kim going back at the wall. It is gone. Bogey goes boom in L.A. Padres take a 1-0 lead.
And on the undercard, Schilt versus Roberts.
Schilt comes out barking, upset, and yelling at Dave Roberts now, and they're going to come together. Dave Roberts coming out as Schilt was yelling in his direction.
It just got interesting.
A wild night up in L.A. and a win for the good guys. Now back to Petco for the weekend. Pacers, Thunder. 2 words, Game 7.
And they still have an opportunity to win a championship. How cool is that?
The weekend begins now inside the Fletch Zone.
Yeah, let's get it going on a Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. It's going to be a big one today here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy along with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will be taking over then. And what exactly do we have to talk about today? Nothing crazy happened on everyone's day off, right? Wrong. At Dodger Stadium last night, things got a little wet and wild. And Sammy, I hate to really toot our own horns here, but did we not say Mike Schilt and Dave Roberts should just fight?
We did. We said that on Wednesday, and they were listening to the show. Dave Roberts lives out here in San Diego. We know Mike Schilt's down here, so maybe they were tuning in, took a page out of our book.
Maybe, but I honestly did not expect that to go down the way it went down. Honestly, proud of both managers for standing their ground a little bit. But let's really get into it, because we could talk about all the numbers that everyone's discussing of how many times Fernando Tatis Jr. has been hit by the Dodgers since the beginning of 2024, which I believe is 5 times since the beginning of 2024, 3 over the last 9 days. And no other team in baseball has hit Tatis more than 4 times in his career. Now, the X-rays were inconclusive last night, according to Tatis. According to Mike Schilt, the X-rays were negative, and they're having a CT scan done today. I'm sure we'll keep Kevin Acey's Twitter feed refreshing all show long to see if there's any update on Fernando Tatis Jr. He did seem sad last night, and he seemed pretty dejected when the cameras got onto him and saying he did not feel good about what is going on inside of his hand right now. But put all that aside for a second, and let's talk about the actual drama. The Padres do get the win, by the way, which is nice after 3 days of getting your ass kicked to come out of that series with at least 1 win. But what went into it was more ugliness between the Padres and the Dodgers, which is almost expected at this point after watching the way these two teams have fought each other over the last couple of years. This is the first time I can really remember where I thought punches were going to be thrown, and I'm a little upset that they weren't. And if it wasn't going to happen after Tatis got hit by a pitch, it should have happened after Ohtani got hit by a pitch. Obviously, there are some unresolved issues between these two teams, and for Shohei Ohtani to wave off his dugout after he got hit by a pitch, I think that was kind of soft. What are we doing, Shohei? No, don't wave him off. Wave him on.
You wanted a full-on fight?
It needs to happen, and it's going to happen at some point between these two teams. I think they just need to settle it out. And I'm curious. We got Coach Kentera jumping on the show today again after he was on Wednesday. We got Steve Hartman coming up at 1:30 today. And maybe this is just me because I'm a little younger. I'm 29 years old. Maybe it's just me, and the old school guys will think a little differently. But I do think there's something between these two teams that they need to hash out. And that hashing out in baseball history happens on the field, and it happens with fights. And maybe that's what needs to happen. Buster Olney does have a report out that he suspects that there will be some punishment and fines handed down today between the two teams. I don't think it's going too far to say Dave Roberts probably gets suspended for a couple games. Maybe Mike Schilt, same thing. Like Dave Roberts did shove a coach, and if a player shoves a coach, that's an automatic suspension.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's obviously a ton to unpack here. So much stuff.
How many times have you watched the video of the fight? I think I'm getting close to 1,000.
I watched it because we watched it live, and then I was watching it on SportsCenter. I was watching it kind of from I wanted to hear all the different broadcasts, what they were saying about it, because we were listening to the Padre one. I wanted to hear what the Dodger broadcast was saying. obviously crazy. My big takeaway is this. Whatever you think on it, whether you're like screw Dave Roberts, whether you're a Dodgers fan, you're like screw Mike Schilt, I love the rivalry.
Same.
This is baseball in June. When the Pacers forced a Game 7 last night, I think a lot of people are talking about was number 1 on ESPN, number 1 on SportsCenter. Dodgers Padres, number 2 headline on SportsCenter over the Yankees, over everything. It's fun. It's fun. You see how much these two fan bases hate each other, how much the two teams hate each other. They're playing into it. As someone who has criticized Fletch, I know you feel the same way. A lot of sports, the NBA, baseball, where it feels like some of the old school rivalries that really made that our parents and our grandparents got to watch, where it was, the Lakers and Celtics hated each other. The Red Sox and the Yankees hated each other. They couldn't even be around each other.
Bulls Pistons.
They hate each other to this day. To this day, Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan despise each other. It's fun that we have a rivalry where it's so heated. Obviously, the Tatis gets hit. Good for Mike Schilt for sticking up for his guys, and Dave Roberts, same thing, honestly.
And I don't think that one was purposeful.
I didn't either.
I really don't. He hit him in the hand. First of all, you're not trying to do that. That's just an inside pitch that Tatis' hand got in the way of. But the numbers are staggering. 3 out of the last 5 games, Tatis has been plunked.
Schultz had to do something.
Of course he did.
Look from the team. I agree with that. I watching Jack Little was making his debut. Listen, if they wanted to smash Tatis, they would have hit him right in the square middle of the back.
And also good for Suarez. Throwing 100 right at Shohei Ohtani's back.
Here's my problem with that. Here's my only issue with the Suarez. No, I don't have a problem with him throwing it to Ohtani. Is that game, like, let's think about yesterday.
It was still a question.
It was still in question. And listen, who knows what happens? And again, everyone's happy. Padres got the win, was able to salvage a little bit of a pretty disastrous week up there in LA by getting this game. I mean, that game was in doubt. Had Dave Roberts not pulled Mookie Betts, Will Smith, and Freddie Freeman, who knows? It felt like because the Padres had burned all their high leverage arms. Morejon had pitched, Estrada had pitched, Adam had pitched. Suarez comes in, he gets ejected knowing that they have a warning. It's like Matsui, if the Dodgers had tied it, the Padres were losing that game because the Padres literally had no one to go to. I mean, Reynolds had pitched, Matsui had just pitched. So I'm happy they got it all worked out fine. It was perfect at the end of the day. But like for tonight, it's a shame that the Padres had to burn through so many pitchers last night, taking on a Royals team this weekend. That's one of the hottest young teams in all of baseball.
We're going to push the big 3 a segment because there's still more to get to here.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Manny Machado's quotes after the game. The Dodgers better hope that Fernando's his imaging comes back negative. They better light a candle for him. I believe that's what Manny Machado said.
They better light a candle.
It'd be one thing if the Padres won this series 3-1. I do think it's a different thing with the Padres losing this series 3-1. Look, Manny Machado has every right to say that, but it's a little bit of a tough guy act. Don't we think? I like, what does that mean, Manny? If they don't, you're gonna go find them on the street. You're gonna beat them up. What exactly does that mean? The series is over.
That's my thing. It's fun in games, and again, I love that the rivalry's there. Some of the tough talk coming both ways. It's like
even for Mike Schilt after the game, he's like, teams that I manage don't go out on the field. Teams that I manage, right?
Well, it's like that's great and all. You got the Dodgers' attention. You're not considered just the little brother or you have their attention. I think even over the Giants in terms of Dodgers Giants have been such a long-standing rivalry and still is. But Dodgers Padres is the new thing. Except where you really make it hurt is when you beat them on the field.
Yes.
And you take it to them in the score column, and it's fun in the offseason. It's fun for headlines. Machado's getting everyone all jacked up today. But at the same time, over the last week, you are 2-5 against the team. So at the end of the day, right now, this team is not on par with the Dodgers. Not that they can't be, not that a couple additions at the deadline couldn't push them over the top, or the Padres are going to get healthier, you're assuming, with Darvish and King and Merrill, but the Dodgers have the same thing. Snell and Glasnow are coming back, it looks like, and Sasaki at some point. So, I mean, it's great quotes. It's great running on SportsCenter. But at the end of the day, if you really want to hurt the Dodgers, you better beat them on the field. And unfortunately, the Padres over the last week really have not fared well against any NL West competition.
Well, over the last 3 series against the Dodgers, it has not gone the Padres' way. Here's what Mike Schilt said, and then I'll read you Dave Roberts' quotes as well. Mike Schilt, and after a while, I'm not going to take it. And I'm not going to take it on behalf of Tati. I'm not going to take it on behalf of the team, intentional or unintentional. It's really that simple. That's how this game is played. If you want to call that old school, then yeah, we'll play old school baseball. And then Dave Roberts, he responds and says, obviously, I think anyone knows there was no intent behind the pitch. And so as Mike Schilt comes out and he's yelling at me and staring me down, that bothers me because, to be quite frank, that's the last thing I wanted. I'm taking starters out of the game, subtle dig, trying to get this game over with and get this kid a couple of innings. I took that personal MJ moment because I understand the game. And I think I understand that it doesn't feel good to get hit. So this is all true. Dave Roberts was pulling starters from this game. Dave Roberts was essentially punting on this game. He already won the series. He's pulling Mookie Betts out. Who else went to the bench in this one, Sammy?
Will Smith and Freddie Freeman all were pitch hitting in the eighth.
So, look, you get that part of it from Dave Roberts, but also, Dave, you can understand that Fernando Tatis Jr. is the most exciting Padres player that they've had since Tony Gwynn. And I think we can all be honest about that. And so when Fernando Tatis Jr. is getting hit now double what anybody else in baseball has hit him, there's obviously some sort of intent behind it. I love that Mike Schilt ran out there and was pissed off and was willing to get into some confrontation. And I also kind of like it that Dave Roberts didn't back down and he went out there and pushed Mike Schilt. This is what makes baseball fun. Yes. These two teams are the only ones of the other 28 who are willing to acknowledge that this is a show. You put this on. And when someone disrespects you, which I do believe Fernando Tatis Jr. has been disrespected by the Dodgers. By the way, they took his plaque down out in left field.
I saw that.
But if Fernando Tatis Jr. has been disrespected, then yeah, it is up to your brothers to back you up. And Fernando Tatis Jr. is laying there. He probably thinks he has a broken hand in the moment.
It was pretty impressive, honestly, how Tatis and Ohtani both handled it. I know you had a problem with the Ohtani, but it is.
Ohtani was soft, dude.
What are they going to do? Get in a fist fight in the middle of the field?
Yes. Ohtani should be charging the mound. 100 to the back? He absolutely should have charged the mound. Like, seriously. If put Bryce Harper in that situation, what's he doing? He's charging the mound. We've seen it happen. Hunter Strickland went in his head. Yeah. Bryce Harper charges the mound.
I mean, it doesn't really fit Ohtani's personality.
I know
He's
it doesn't.
Really like that.
But dude, this has been now a week and a half in the making. This started in the first 3-game series these two teams played against each other.
Listen, you have a 4-game stretch against your top rival.
If I'm Ohtani, I'm freaking charging with my bat in my hand.
Things are boiling up. The brawl was unbelievable. I mean, listen, it adds to the rivalry.
It wasn't even a brawl. It was one shove from one old guy to another old guy, and then a bunch of people yelling at each other.
I like specifically looking at the game, it really did frustrate me watching it. I mean, you're thinking, okay, you get one in LA. Again, not a successful week. We're not going to sit here and all sing Kumbaya together because they won a game. We expect more from this Padre team, especially considering that they felt like they were almost on par with the Dodgers last year. And clearly right now that they're not on the same level. But to salvage a game and then you're thinking, okay, you're saving some bullpen arms. Clearly Dave Roberts taking everyone out of the game. They're in the 8th inning and had literally, I mean, it's scary to think if he did not take those guys out of the game with the amount of bullpen arms that were burning that, who knows what happens.
Our buddy Patrick on X is saying Fletch is right. They should have fought. I do feel like everything was leading up to the crescendo. And then Shohei Ohtani gets hit. You think, oh, now punches are going to be thrown.
Listen, as someone who's watching as an entertainment value, it would be fascinating. Now, the last thing the MLB wants is Fernando Tatis and Shohei Ohtani out because they broke their hand punching someone for a month because that sells no tickets whatsoever.
I'm not even talking about punches, dude. I'm talking about suplexes need to be thrown. Saying full RKOs need to happen. It was a little disappointing. Felt like you had the steak appetizer and you were about to get the dessert. And once you got the dessert, they took it off your plate.
I am really curious to see, and there's so much more reaction from this game that we're going to be doing.
This is Shohei right here. No, we don't want the fun stuff. Leave the fun back in the dugout.
I'm curious how they come out tonight because I'm really like,
they don't play each other for another month.
No, because you got the Royals, who it's easy to get up in a 162-game season for your division rival. Padres Dodgers sells itself. It's must-watch TV.
This was playoff TV over the last 4 days.
It was playoff TV. Now you're back at Petco. And what they've done over the last week.
Ooh, Star Wars night.
I saw that commercial way too many damn times this week. But and the City Connect hat. What's that commercial with Don or Silho?
That was actually kind of funny.
No, it's funny. I just saw it I can recite it word for word.
Like every Hulu show you watch has 10 Padres commercials. Every Padres game you watch if you're on Padres.tv has 1,000 Star Wars commercials. It's rough.
Yeah, but I'm curious how they come out tonight. I mean, this is, again.
There's going to be a huge letdown for both the Padres and the Dodgers.
There's going to be a huge letdown, but you can't. The way that the Dodgers can afford a little bit of a letdown because of the thing that they have in the division, the lead. The Padres right now are right on that cut line of wild. If you're just looking at the wild card, and the division's probably tough now, considering you went 2 of 5 against the Dodgers. I know you're going to see them 6 more times in the year, but that's a tall task to be, especially considering they're getting healthier. But you're right on the cut line there for the wild card, and you got a hot young Royals team coming into town. That Caglione is
hot?
How hot?
Yeah.
Sexy, hot. But the Padres can take care of business. They should win this series. But considering they burned all these arms last night.
No, dude, they're going to lose 10-0 tonight. And I think they know that. And I'll call that right now. It's going to be a lopsided Royals victory tonight. Padres can take care of business in games 2 and 3. There's going to be a letdown tonight. It's very, very predictable. All right, we got to take a quick break. Big 3 on the other side. Coach Kentera coming up at 12:30. Steve Hartman at 1:30. The reaction is just beginning.
We're reading your texts. They're rolling in left and right.
Hit us up on the text line about reaction from last night's game. 70470. Start your message with team. We'll be right back with the Big 3 and your text coming up next. Sammy, we've done it. We got Dodger fans on the text line. They're here today, baby, and I love it. I love it. All right, let's get right to them. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock, by the way. John and Jim will take over then. Let's see. Start with the 858. Roberts and the Smelly Dodgers can suck my toes because Xander Bogaerts is back. Parentheses, I'm completely delusional. It was nice to see Xander have 4 hits yesterday.
Well, he won the game for him.
For sure. And honestly, like that kind of gets left out of the story of last night's game was that Xander Bogaerts was kind of awesome yesterday.
We got to give Xander some love because we've definitely been very hard on him, rightfully so, but he had a big night last night.
619 for you Padres homers. It must suck that Ohtani has as much class and decency as Tony Gwynn, but more talent.
Ooh.
To be determined on the more talent, by the way. He could throw. That, I mean, obviously puts him ahead of Tony Gwynn in one category, but is he the hitter that Tony Gwynn is? No.
Yeah, that's
he has more power.
Right. If you talk about it as a total player in terms of adding the pitching, but Tony Gwynn's one of the greatest hitters of all time.
760 Dave
Ohtani
Roberts.
too,
yeah, maybe. We'll see. Dave Roberts, you look like a little weasel.
People, a little weasel.
619, shut the F up, Fletch. Ohtani has more wisdom and talent in his bicep than you have in your whole body.
Hey, was that an Anchorman reference when she goes, I have more talent, my little finger, Mr. Burgundy?
Oh, it might be. 619, good text, man. Thank you for listening. 619, Suarez actually needs the team MVP for knowing he was about to blow another game and decided to hit Shohei Ohtani and call it a night.
Okay, can I say something? That text right there, that's what I thought was going to happen. I'm like, there's no pitchers in the pen.
You thought Suarez was blowing the game?
When he went out, I'm like, if you're the Dodgers, you're going, wait, so let me get this straight. Morejon's gone, Estrada's gone, Adams gone, and now Suarez is gone and Matsui. And let's listen, everyone's happy it went the end of the way, but that last at bat with Matsui, even Don Orsillo was talking about the broadcast, so we got some friendly calls there. So, I mean, it ended up working out, but that could have, if we came here tomorrow and talking about the Dodgers, if we had come here today talking about the Dodgers with a sweep because they literally Matsui comes in the game, could have been very bad.
858 Fletch won't be happy until he gets Ohtani versus Tatis in a street fight. No, here is my honest to God opinion. It's going to happen at some point. These two teams are going to have an all-out brawl. There's going to be suspensions and fines handed out galore. I would rather that happen on June 19th than right before the postseason. Does that make a little bit of sense? This is it's inevitable. It's going to happen between these two teams.
I'm sure Fox would love for the ratings for there to be a brawl in the NLDS.
No, if it's happening right before the postseason, you have like worries about some of the suspensions and some of the fines. If it happens now, it's fine. It'll get brushed over. And it's going to happen between these two teams. It was going to happen last night, but Shohei Ohtani waved the guys back to the dugout. 619, Sammy, Royals have won 3 in a row. Before that, they were 5-12.
Yes, except they pulled up Jack Caglione, who's one of the top prospects in baseball, Bobby Witt Jr. I'm not saying that they're better than the Padres. I'm just saying this is a team that you can't take lightly because they are playing good ball right now. And this is a team that's only getting better. And I think really was Lugo and that pitching staff, a really underrated pitching staff for the Royals with not necessarily your aces that you talk about, but just a solid team with some young talent. They're a hungry group, so you can't take them lightly.
Our buddy Rob on X saying, Fletch, please spare the Macho Man charging the mound BS. He's a pitcher. He's not going to throw down. Tell me Ohtani's too good to fight. We've seen plenty of pitchers throw down.
Here's my thing to this with like I'm agreeing with Rob is yes, if you're a casual fan, if you're not a fan of either team, I get it. You want to see a fight. But again, the last thing Major League Baseball needs is Tatis and Ohtani out with an injury for a month. That is the last thing Major League Baseball needs.
Our buddy Jamar had a really great tweet last night, actually, where he said, this isn't just a rivalry anymore. This is turning into pure hatred. Let's go. And Jamar also jumps in on the show today, says, we needed a repeat of Carlos Quentin versus Zach Greinke. Do you remember that fight? So Carlos Quentin, Padres Dodgers, by the way, Carlos Quentin gets hit high and tight, I believe on the left shoulder. And he immediately throws a football move at Zach Greinke. It's not throwing hands. It is throwing shoulders. He went out there charging about like he was trying to tackle LaDainian Tomlinson running through the A gap. It was a badass moment from Carlos Quentin. It's going to happen. These two teams are going to do it at some point. I'd rather it get done earlier rather than later.
619 said Roberts was backpedaling, hold me back guy after shoving Schilt. What a coward.
He was totally backpedaling. Yeah. And then all of a sudden the whole brawl starts to move towards the net instead of like towards each other. It was soft by Roberts.
My favorite watching it is like, there's like the guy.
Who was the Padres assistant who wasn't in uniform? He was just wearing a brown t-shirt. He came he looked like he was running into jump.
The funniest thing about the brawl or the dust up or whatever you want to call it last night was there's like Roberts and Schilt who are going crazy, like yelling at each other, and some of the assistant coaches, and then some of that, like Tony Gonsolin for the Dodgers, if you zoom in on his face, looks so disinterested in everything that's going on. And then some of like the Padres players, like you could tell they just had to run out there to like, because you have to. It's kind of like the NFL.
In every baseball fight, there's always going to be a Yasiel Puig, and there's always going to be a Tony Gonsolin.
Like Rich Weinberger talks about this. In the NFL, if your quarterback, as an offensive lineman, if your quarterback got cheap shotted or hit early, and you didn't get a 15-yard penalty or stick up for him, you would be called out in the meeting for that and kind of be iced out of the whole team. So it was important by Schilt to stick up for Tatis. Again, I didn't think that the pitch was intentional, but regardless of intent, you got to show your team that you have some fight. You're up at Dodger Stadium. He has been hit multiple times, and hopefully it's not leading to a serious injury, because that would suck if his wrist is messed up for the next
we'll
while.
Get the CT scan back today. The funniest one Rich talks about is a real fight he was in a New England Patriots game where Tom Brady got cheap shotted early, and he and the defensive lineman had a conversation where they said, we need to make this look good, but I don't want to fight. And they both just like laid down kind of on top of each other. Oh, it's good stuff, man. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We got Coach Kentera coming up on the other side. Usually we have Coach once a week, this week, twice a week, because there was chaos last night. And I do want to get Coach's thoughts on it. That is coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by the Temecula Valley Balloon and Wine Music Festival. After the 4-game series in Los Angeles wraps up, Padres back home to host the Kansas City Royals, bringing a record of 37-38 on a 3-game win streak. Padres currently minus 160 on the money line. That game will be going at 6:40 tonight on Apple TV Plus. Michael Lorenzo will be going for the Royals, while Nick Pivetta will be going for the Padres. In game Game 7 in the NBA Finals gets going Sunday night at 5 o'clock. The early favorite, Oklahoma City Open, is 8.5-point favorites. Has been bet down to 6.5 with all the late money coming in on Indiana. Temecula Valley Balloon and Wine Music Festival is happening June 20th through 22nd, featuring Walker Hayes, Cody Jinks, Alabama, and more. Tickets are available now at TemeculaValleyFestival.com, powering the best events from start to finish, events.com.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. As we continue on here on a Friday, which weird that today's a Friday. It does not feel like it. But usually on Thursdays, we have the coach on. This week we had him on Wednesday, Coach Kentera. Today, he's joining us 2 times in 1 week because last night was epic between the Padres and the Dodgers. Coach, welcome in, and boys will be boys is the same for a reason. The boys were boys last night, weren't they?
Well, they certainly were. Both teams obviously wanting to win. Padres obviously a little frustrated, not having a good road trip. Dodgers last night, didn't swing the bat really until the last couple innings of the ball game. But, a lot of things that went on. You played the same ball club 7 times in 11 days, and we know these guys don't exchange Christmas cards, so they got at it last night. The managers got at it, and the unfortunate thing for us baseball fans, we got to wait till August 15th now they play again.
And well, thank God they're not playing tomorrow night. There might be knives drawn or something, But Coach, I'm curious. I can't remember the last time I've seen a coach going after another coach like that. We've had moments where, like, Pedro Martinez went after a coach at one point. That was an ugly situation. But do you remember coaches fighting coaches like that last night, even though it was just a shove?
Oh, I've seen guys over the years. They'll push. Tony La Russa was in a few in his day, but I think everything kind of spilled over. I mean, there were 8 batters hit in the series. The Dodgers hit 4, and the Padres hit 4. The 2 that definitely were intentional were the 2 to Ohtani. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you go back and if you look at the tape on Tuesday night, Fernando had gotten hit earlier in the game. The next half inning, Ohtani came up. Randy Vasquez, I think, tried to hit him with the first pitch, but he missed. He moved Ohtani up, moved his feet off the plate, and then he hit him in the thigh the next one. And then last night, a right-handed pitcher, granted it was 3-0, but to throw that ball across your body and hit Ohtani, and Flores didn't even put up a fight. If you watched him, the body language on him compared to the rookie for the Dodgers last night, Jack Little, night and day. Jack Little, when he hit Tatis, looked like he lost his dog. Somebody had stole his dog. He didn't know what to believe. The guy making his major league debut and trying to throw as hard as he can, and pulled that, left that ball up and into Fernando. But you watch Flores, when he got ejected, he just walked off the mound. He didn't make a comment after the ball game. He wasn't made available to the media, and it's probably a good thing because he'd have probably lied to us anyways, to be honest with you. But other than that, I mean, Bryce Johnson got hit by Lou Trevino. Trevino's the one that hit Fernando in San Diego and also hit him the other night up in LA. I mean, he just can't pitch inside. The only other one that I thought may have been a little intentional, and I talked about it on Wednesday's show, is the one to Pages on Monday night. He had rifled that double down in the right field corner his first time up. And when he was at second base, I don't know if he was trying to steal signs and relay him to the hitter, or maybe when he came up that second time trying to take a peek to see location with the catcher's glove. And if he's doing that, then you're going to get a rib ball. Now, he ended up getting hit high, but yeah, when you're stealing signs, or if they think you're stealing signs, you're going to probably pay the price a little bit. But, really on the 2 to Fernando, if you look, guys, every team in baseball pitches Fernando up and in, okay? Some teams are better at it than others. Some pitchers are better than others. Obviously, Trevino's hit Fernando twice when he faced him. He's not very good at it. And last night, Jack Little, obviously a kid just trying to get his feet wet in the big leagues, pitching his second inning, hit him. And I totally get why Mike Schultz was upset, but Mike Schultz's biggest mistake was not yelling at Dave Roberts, but coming across the field. Everybody thought he was going to look at Fernando. If you go back and look at the tape, he didn't even stop really at home plate. He came to home plate, never really looked down at Fernando, kept yelling at Dave Roberts. And Dave Roberts came out, and once, Schilt went on the Dodger side, Roberts bowled it out into the dugout and gave him that little forearm.
Coach, did you have a problem with Suarez hitting Ohtani at the stage of the game, considering most of the bullpen arms were used and it was still kind of in doubt, or no? Did you like it there?
Well, I don't like anybody to get hit, to be honest with you. I mean, I've been hit. I've been thrown out when I was playing in college. It's not fun. I don't think anybody likes to get hit, especially when guys are throwing the ball 100 miles an hour. I mean, I don't even like to see guys get hit, when it's unintentional, let alone intentional. But no, I mean, Suarez did what he did, and he's the only one that knows what his intent was. But it looked pretty obvious 3-0 when a right-hander is throwing that ball across his body and hitting a left-hand hitter, pretty high up there into his pitching arm. That wasn't real good. And it's just that's baseball. Stuff happens. I hope Fernando's okay. I hope Ohtani's okay. I hope everybody's okay. Bryce Johnson got knocked out of the game last night. I hope he's okay. I don't like to see anybody get hit. I don't like to see anybody get hurt. But it was ugly. And again, I mean, I think if the shoe was on the other foot and Dave Roberts was yelling at Mike Schultz and he came across the field, I would expect Mike Schultz to come out and, maybe give Dave Roberts a little forearm shiver because, you're kind of calling him out. And I've seen that from time to time in college baseball, professional baseball. One coach calls out another and guys are going to go at it a little bit.
Yeah, no suspensions yet, but we will see what comes down. Buster Olney put out a tweet maybe a couple hours ago now saying that he expects suspensions and fines to come down today, plural on both those words, suspensions and fines. Coach, curious.
Fletch, real quick, I don't know what they're going to do with the managers. And really, I kind of hope they do nothing with either manager, because I think if they do one thing to one, they got to do it to the other. But I think Suarez will probably he'll get some type of suspension and the only reason I say that is because the warnings had already been issued and he ended up hitting, and it didn't look unintentional. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and I think both coaches will get fined. I don't know that either one of them gets suspended, but I bet you $50,000 is coming out of each of their next paychecks. All right, Coach, curious your thoughts here. Who looks better after all of this? And maybe it's who looks worse. I don't know. But between the Padres and the Dodgers, obviously a ton has been said in press conferences. Manny Machado's been talking very unfiltered over the last couple of days, especially last night. Mike Schultz, same thing. Dave Roberts, same thing. As an organization coming out of this, I'm curious what the outside perspective would be from somebody watching from, say, New York, on who actually looks better after this ugliness over the last few days.
Well, I don't think anybody looks good in it, to be honest. I watched last night, so many, and first of all, these games go forever up in LA. I mean, with all the drama involved and all the different pitching changes. But, I watched as much as I could, and I watched both managers post-game last night. I watched Mookie Betts being interviewed, and Mookie Betts said, hey, it's baseball, I'll move on. We got the Washington Nationals coming in. I hope the Padres can turn the page today. You don't forget, but you got to turn the page, because this team coming in, even though they're a game under 500, Kansas City, they got some guys that can win ball games. They got one of the best players in baseball, and Bobby Witt Jr. They got, a good ball club, and they've kind of struggled. They're going to play hard, and the Padres got to forget about the Dodger series and forget about that 2-5 road trip. They got to get back to playing winning baseball. They're in third place right now, and they're right now hanging on by a thread to that third wild card. I know there's a long ways to go, but the ultimate prize is to get into the playoffs and try to, win a championship, which I don't think they have the roster to do right now myself. I think AJ hopefully is given some freedom by the ownership to go out and do what he can. I don't know how much they have to trade in the organization right now. They may have to just take on some salary. But this team's got a lot of work to do, and they can't let the Dodgers get in their head right now. Dodgers, on the other hand, they just say, hey, the Padres, they're a third-place team. They're coming up here. They're popping off, and they're going to worry about the Washington Nationals. I don't think the Dodgers are going to let this bother them, or hopefully the Padres don't let it bother them.
Coach, if you one position, obviously left field has kind of been the certified patient, but we've seen the struggles with the bullpen. Yeah. If you could change one thing at the deadline, what would you improve?
Well, obviously, you got to figure out. I don't know if King's coming back or not. They're saying August. Who knows? We don't know about Darvish. All that's up in the air. That's from one bullpen session to one simulated game. You get one story. Next day, you get another story. This team needs a lot of things. They need a catcher that can swing the bat. I don't think they can stay with both these guys the remainder of the year. I think they're probably talking right now which one they want to keep, which one they want to let go. But who are they going to bring in? I saw Brett Sullivan, who I don't necessarily think's the answer. I saw he got DFA'd the other day by the Pirates. Of course, he's been with the Padres the last few years, and he ended up going over to Pittsburgh and has already gotten DFA'd. Left field, there's some guys out there. I mean, Taylor Ward, Angels might be expendable. He's a guy that doesn't hit for much of an average, but he's got some pop. Andrew Benintendi in Chicago, you might be able to pull him off, or Luis Robert, who's having a miserable year, but a talented guy. Maybe a change of scenery would help him. There are going to be some guys out there. I just don't know what AJ really has that other organizations want right now, and I think more so the Padres would probably have to take on salary, and if they took on salary, they wouldn't have to give up as high a prospect as they normally would.
Coach, as always, appreciate your time, appreciate your perspective. If you want more of Coach's perspective, find him at San Diego Sports Talk on YouTube. That's where you can find the coach these days. Coach, it was nice getting to talk to you twice in a week.
Well, Fletch, I appreciated it. And again, there's a lot of different ways to look at this, but really in a beanball war conference, nobody really wins. Yeah. I mean, it's just it happens. I know why it happens when you're down in the heat of battle. But really nobody wins, but, your manhood's challenged a little bit, and both managers, I think, defended their ball club, and we'll see what Major League Baseball has to say now.
The text line does not share the perspective that you have, Coach. They're asking for war, and that's what fans do. Appreciate you, Coach.
I don't want to see anybody get hurt. We got a lot of good talented ball players on both ball clubs, and I enjoy the great game of baseball, and I don't want to see guys sitting on the sidelines with an injury.
There he goes, the coach, Coach John Kentera. Find him on YouTube at San Diego Sports Talk, and good stuff going up there all the time. Coming up at 1:30 today, Steve Hartman is going to jump on the show. I'm sure we'll get his perspective on what went down last night as well. It is San Diego Sports 760. Coming up next at 12:45, it is time for Sammy's long shots for today, creating a daily fantasy lineup for you to take into the weekend with you. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Give my friend Gary Cooper a call today, 858-376-1299. If you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, refinance your mortgage, there's really only one guy to call, and it's Gary Cooper with Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. The phone number one more time, 858-376-1299. Gary prides himself and his company on eliminating smoke and mirrors. When you go start the home buying process, you talk to 20 different people. You get a bunch of different answers on what your interest rate will be, how you should start the process, what you need to do to get the process started. Gary Cooper gives it to you straight, and that's what he intends to do with every single one of his clients. That's exactly what he is doing with my wife and I right now. He's eliminating the smoke and mirrors because we were in that position. We were talking to a bunch of different mortgage people, a bunch of different real estate people, and we were lost in the sauce. Gary Cooper put us out on the straight and narrow. Give him a call today, 858-376-1299. He could do the same exact thing for you. The biggest selling point for me with Gary Cooper was the people I was talking to about home loans weren't in this market. They weren't here in San Diego. Gary's been here his entire life, born and bred San Diegan, and he's been doing real estate in this market for well over 30 years. Call Gary Cooper today, 858-376-1299. You could also visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. When you do give Gary a call, or even if you want to just email me and I'll set up the call for you, email me at benjaminfletcher@iheartmedia.com. If you want to do that, tell him Fletch sent you, and you're going to get the best answers you could possibly get when it comes to mortgage and realty from Gary Cooper over at Mountain Trust. 858-376-1299. Give Gary a call today. San Diego Sports 760. Long shots inbound with our buddy Sammy Long, who's going to make a daily fantasy sports lineup for us, which is coming up in just a little bit here. But as we continue, how did we do over the last couple of days, Sammy, from your Wednesday long shots?
We did not do well because
my pick hit.
Your pick did hit, so I give you some credit. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, buddy, did not come through for us. Neither did Ben Mathurin.
Yeah, we have not talked about that basketball game from last night at all today. We will in hour number 2, I promise. But yeah, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander with a little bit of a disappointing night. I think that kind of leads to OKC losing that game. And Ben Mathurin forgot how to put the ball in the hoop. But at least Scotty Scheffler out-birdied Rory McIlroy. So we're going to get the newest one from Sammy here in just a minute. But I do want to read some of these texts. 619, Dave Roberts is a complete POS. I wish Schilt had been better prepared to deliver a quick sucker punch to Roberts. The sucker punch is a dying skill and is required when the crowd is there to break it up, or Roberts goes into his trademark cowardly push and run. I hope everyone hits the gym and gets in some good bag time before the next time the Padres and Dodgers meet.
Brian.
That's for our buddy Brian.
Hey,
well
619. By the way, real quick side note, I'm looking for a gym that has a boxing bag. I used to work at a gym, so I used to use it, and I officially was like let go because my manager was great. She was letting me like hang on for a while. I need a gym with a boxing
fired?
bag. No. My manager's the best, Brittany. That's my girl. She's the greatest. She kept me on as like a part-time employee so I could use the gym. Actually, I don't want to get her in trouble, but it's not like they're listening.
Okay, 619. Tell Coach, thank you for bringing some intelligence and wisdom to your program. He has actual experience with having a ball intentionally thrown at him, unlike you two armchair warriors.
Well, here's the thing. Since we're armchair warriors, Coach comes on our show every Thursday at 1:30.
Love having the coach on.
We love having the coach. Is one of my favorite people in San Diego to listen to. The man keeps it like it is. He's the same dude on air and off air. He does not pander to anybody. He gives his takes. That's why when he praises the Padres, I believe Coach, when he rips the Padres, it's all out of love. But and guess what? Coach, can we announce this yet?
Oh, yeah, he's filling in a couple days.
He's filling in a couple while Fletcher's frolicking in Northern California.
I believe I'll be in San Luis Obispo at that time.
Okay, well, he's frolicking in San Luis Obispo. I believe July 2nd and July 3rd, Coach and I will be co-hosting together. So
that's awesome. I can't wait for Coach to host it. Also, I don't know about Sammy. I have been thrown at intentionally by 85, so it's not quite 100.
I've thrown at someone intentionally.
Nice. You hit him?
I did. I mean, it was aggressive little league out there in South Pasadena.
This was my junior year of high school, and I was talking some mad ass. But this dude had pro scouts visiting him. He was a pitcher out of Visalia. I can't remember his name, but I was talking some smack because I was a first baseman. He was on first base, and I was like, "You can't actually throw that hard," and he actually could throw that hard, and he hit me square in the back. My entire back was bruised for like a week. It was not fun. I agree with that, but I can acknowledge that I deserved it, and I think Shohei, while he didn't deserve it personally last night, he wore it because of actions from his team. And then I think that putting everybody back in the dugout was probably the wrong move because this is going to happen eventually. And it probably should have happened last night. And then today we'd be worried about suspensions. All right. Long shots. Took the day off yesterday. We were off the air yesterday. Back on today.
I got a good lineup for us today.
Sammy Long, smash it.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, got it. It's time for Sammy's long shots.
All right, we were off yesterday. We hit a couple winners last week, so you know what that means. We've had a little bit of a cold streak this week, but we can't win them all. All right, Fletch hit us with a very nice golf pick yesterday. Now we're doing a Flex Friday because we like to do that here on the Fletch Zone on Friday during the day.
By the way, it was so funny watching golf yesterday, seeing them on a course that you could actually, I don't know, birdie a hole.
Yeah, you wouldn't like chunking the grass every time you took a swing.
It was just funny watching them on a golf course that wasn't designed to kill them.
Okay, so Fletch came through with that. Now there is a half point square for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander for Sunday.
Ooh.
I'm not going to include that because you can't do the Flex Friday if you include that.
But you should make another lineup.
You should make a different lineup where you do that. So that's just a heads up for all you. Now, we are going to include Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. We have 2 NBA Finals picks and 2 baseball picks. Let's start with the baseball picks. I know we're supposed to keep Padres out of this thing, but I really feel confident in this one. Nick Pivetta, more than 5.5 pitcher strikeouts. Guess why he's going to get it? Because he has to. There's no one in the pen. Suarez has been used back-to-back games. Matsui could probably come back out and give you an inning. Reynolds was burned last night. Estrada was burned last night. Morejon was burned last night. He could probably go today. He didn't throw that many pitches. But still, this team has to go ways in this game. I could see the Royals maybe jumping up with a little bit of a lead, but I still think that no matter what happens, if they jump up with a lead, if they don't, Pavetta's going to have to stay in the game. I'm staying away from the pitching outs because those can get a little weird betting sometimes. With 5.5 pitcher strikeouts, I think Pivetta has a big bounce back after the last couple starts, and I think he has a big performance today. Other baseball pick, Zach Gallen, Arizona at Colorado, 6 pitcher strikeouts less than. We've been burned too many times by the Rockies playing in Colorado. Zach Gallen has hit this less than in each of the last 5 games. He hit 6 last week against the Padres, actually. I think that they're trying to bait us with it being Colorado. Colorado's decent enough to where the Diamondbacks, I don't know if we're getting 6 strikeouts. In Colorado, that's a tough place to play, a tough number. We're going under on that.
Might get hit out of it in the second inning.
Exactly. There's always the chance of that out there in Denver. Now, to NBA Finals. I mean, come on. 2 best birds in sports. I'm going to be locked in Sunday night. I can't wait. Game 7, Pacers back in Oklahoma City taking on the Thunder. We have 2 picks today. Tyrese Halliburton, more than 12.5 field goals attempted. Halliburton was fantastic yesterday. He was the juice off the bench. The arena was thriving off the fact that he was able to play on a sprained ankle. It looked like it was going to be the Thunder. It looks like the Thunder were going to close it out. I don't think anyone really expected the Pacers to win that game. Halliburton hit multiple back-to-back big threes at the end of the first half there and really extended the lead. And every time you thought that the Thunder might try to come back in the game, they didn't score out of the second half for the first 5 minutes of the game.
Do you see his quotes after the game?
Halliburton?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He said his girlfriend rubs ice on his calf while they're watching Love Island together.
Yeah.
And that's how he's been rehabbing, getting ready.
That's what happens when you're an NBA superstar.
He's been watching that Huda Hurricane smashing.
I got to catch up. I keep hearing about the Huda. I got to get in.
Oh, it's so good, dude.
I'm
sorry. Continue.
Okay. But Tyrese Halliburton, more than 12.5 field goals attempted. Now, game sevens are usually low scoring. They're usually all about defense. You go back to Lakers Celtics, game 7, 2010. Final score was 83-79. I believe the Cavs and Warriors, the last time there was a game 7 in the NBA Finals, that it hung in the 90s, even though that was a great game. Kyrie hit the shot. LeBron with the pin down block on Iguodala. I think Halliburton has a big night. He's going to have to, on the road, 12.5 field goals attempted more than. Because he's going to have to shoot. Whether they're losing, whether they're in, he's going to stay in the whole time. I don't care that he's injured. And my last pick, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. This could be a little risky. Less than 44.5 points, rebounds, and assists. This is a game 7. The Pacers have found something with how to guard Shai. Last night, they were completely almost gang tackling him. The first game, the first couple games, they had struggled with him. He would beat the first guy off the dribble, whether that be Nembhard or Nesmith. There was really no help coming down low, and he was getting to the basket easy. They were doing this whole kind of every time he would blow by someone, all 4 guys would step into the middle of the lane and kind of take away that easy little bunny jump hook he's been doing and forcing them to hit threes. And Oklahoma City in this series has not hit that many threes. They had 1 3 through all meaningful portion of that game last night. They hit a few threes at the end of that game. It was complete garbage time. It didn't matter. They're forcing other guys to hit shots. Holmgren's not doing it. Neither is Jalen Williams, who had a minus 40 in the plus minus after scoring 40 points in game 5. So we're going less than for Shai, 44.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I think this is too high for a game 7. So less than on that, less than on 6 pitcher strikeouts for Zach Gallen, more on 5.5 pitcher strikeouts for Nick Pivetta, more for 12.5 field goals attempted for Tyrese Halliburton. Hit you with that flex play. It's free money coming back either way.
I dig it. I like it a lot. Submitted, no notes, no changes there. All right, hour number 2 is coming up next. Steve Hartman is going to be joining the show coming up in hour number 2.
I'm excited to hear his thoughts.
I want his thoughts on the finals. I want his thoughts on what went down at Dodger Stadium last night. He might have been there. He's been going to quite a few games up there in LA.
He will tell us if he's been there.
Sammy, I was there. I was mere hundreds of feet away from the action last night as the Padres and the Dodgers squared off with one another near home plate. That would be Steve Hartman's way of doing it. We also do have a giveaway for you coming up in hour number 2, and it's going to be to go see Billy Currington out at Gallagher Square at Petco Park to celebrate Live Nation's $30 ticket to summer. Make it a summer of live music with $30 concert tickets to 1,000+ shows on sale now at livenation.com/ticket to summer. Billy Currington tickets coming up in hour number 2. Steve Hartman coming up in hour number 2, plus the big 3 that we never got to in hour number 1. All coming up next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by the Jim Buttrell Real Estate Team. Padres be back for a 3-game set against the Kansas City Royals tonight. That game will be going at 6:40 on Apple TV Plus. And Nick Pivetta will be on the mound for the Padres. And then Game 7, two best words in sports, Pacers Thunder back in Oklahoma City after the Thunder drove OKC last night. Oklahoma City opened as 8.5-point favorites with all the late money coming in on the Pacers. Has been bet down to 6.5 with the point total set at 215.5. That game will be Sunday, 5 o'clock on ABC. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Buttrell has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Check the clock. What time is it? It's high noon. Padres versus Dodgers.
It's a fly ball to left center field. This is deep as well. Kim going back at the wall. It is gone. Bogey goes boom in L.A. Padres take a 1-0 lead.
And on the undercard, Schultz versus Roberts.
Schultz comes out barking, upset, and yelling at Dave Roberts now, and they're going to come together. Dave Roberts coming out as Schultz was yelling in his direction.
It just got interesting.
A wild night up in L.A. and a win for the good guys. Now back to Petco for the weekend. Pacers, Thunder. 2 words, Game 7.
And they still have an opportunity to win a championship. How cool is that?
The weekend begins now inside the Fletch Zone.
Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. Welcome in. It is hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Billy Currington tickets inbound. Steve Hartman inbound. A big 3 for hour number 2 is also inbound. We did want to throw this out here at the beginning of hour number 2. Obviously, we will get back to the theatrical nature of what was this Padres-Dodgers series. Obviously, we'll get you set for a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. But we did want to throw this out here because there's a tweet going viral right now. Allen Robinson is on TV right now, the football wide receiver. Yes, that Allen Robinson. And it was a picture, a side-by-side picture of Triple G, the boxer, who weighs what? He's like 5'10", 168.
He was a career middleweight.
Career middleweight in boxing, one of the most feared boxers ever. We get all that. And then Aaron Donald in his prime Rams form, who is 6'1", 298, massive human being, one of the strongest NFL players of all time. I don't even think that's a question. And saying it's hard to understand or explain to somebody that Triple G would kick the absolute dog out of Aaron Donald if they were to fight in the streets.
I will post this on San Diego Sports 760 X account so you can get a picture of this.
Which it looks
Where do
like
you
a
fall on
computer
this? Because I
science
have a
nerd.
strong opinion about this.
All right, my brain tells me, yeah, of course, Triple G is going to knock him flat on the ground. Say night, Aaron Donald, you're done. But when you look at it, there's no way that the dude on the left is knocking out the dude on the right. So truthfully, in the comment section on this is split, by the way, and nobody is ever, it would probably be a good fight. Everybody is either Aaron Donald's killing him or Triple G is killing him. And I do, in my head, I think one punch from Triple G and it's night, Aaron Donald.
Well, your brain would be right, because people who don't watch boxing or UFC have no idea how hard a pro fighter hits. They think because it's on TV and they're jabbing through rounds that they can take a shot. The only way Aaron Donald will have a shot to beat Gennady Golovkin, who, by the way, started 43-0 with 43 knockouts, ran through up multiple weight divisions, multi-class champion.
Aaron Donald would have to start by tackling him.
He would have to be on the ground. Here's the problem. People go, he gets him on the ground. He can't do anything. Gennady Golovkin is going to hit him so hard in the face with his chin that his lights are going to go out and he's going to fall on him. There's just not even a debate. Aaron Donald is one of the toughest dudes to ever play football.
But it's a street fight, no rules. So he could run up from behind him and tackle him.
Well, okay, then if he starts on the ground, he has a shot. If you're saying that Triple G is looking at him and he starts to charge at Triple G and he hits him with a shot, it's over. This is not even a debate. Triple G took a shot from Canelo straight flush, and Triple G won. Canelo, one of the hardest hitters at middleweight in the entire history, didn't even flinch.
And he just ate it. I remember this. But still, when you see a picture of Aaron Donald in his prime Rams form, peak Aaron Donald.
Allen Robinson said that Aaron Donald would need help. Like, are you kidding me?
Wait, I thought he said Aaron Donald would kick the crap out of Triple G.
Yeah, he said Triple G would need help to beat Aaron Donald. I'm like, that's insane.
Oh, good for Allen Robinson. He's going viral now. I don't know. Is he on a team?
No, I don't think he was with the Rams, and then I think they cut him because they got Devontae.
I think he bounced somewhere after that too. Allen Robinson, man, talk about a wild potential for a career that never really panned out. But now he's throwing out incendiary tweets.
Now we start understanding why it never panned out.
All right, let's get to the big three that we never got to in hour number one. We were too busy with Padres Dodgers, but the big three needs to happen. The top stories in the world of sports. Sammy Long takes us through it. Sammy, smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
Catch us on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. Catch us on Twitter at Fletch and Sammy. You can stream the show there. Our buddy Rich jumping on YouTube saying, can't wait for tonight. The boys have been on the road too long. Let's go Padres. Rich, have fun tonight, man. Wear your best Jedi costume. That's all I can say.
Oh yeah, is it Xander Bogaerts X-Wing night tomorrow or something?
I'm not sure. It's Star Wars weekend out at the ballpark for this Royals Padres series.
Well, that's great and all, but
the commercial's pretty cool.
Commercial's cool.
I mean, I've seen it
I love
like
Star
1,000
Wars.
times.
You're not hearing me complain about that, but
I've seen the commercial way too many times.
Yeah,
but it is a well done.
It was
commercial.
starting to annoy by about like Wednesday. I was like, okay, seeing that commercial, we need to mix a few more in.
All right, where are we starting with the big three?
All right, let's start with the Dodgers Padres. It's the hottest story right now.
It is cool to that point that during an NBA Finals, the biggest story in the world of sports is Padres Dodgers.
Well, this is why people are tripping about it, but it's like, guess what? People are talking about the NBA Finals Game 7, and now they're talking about this. This is the second lead on SportsCenter last night. Look on ESPN right now. Last time I checked, it was the second leading story. People are interested in this. This is a fascinating rivalry. I think in terms of sports, it has hurt the sports landscape, whether it be in the NBA, whether it be in baseball, hockey, with the lack of rivalries. I mean, we go back, we were talking about it earlier, Fletch. You had the Bulls and the Pistons hate each other. The Lakers and the Celtics hated each other. The Red Sox and the Yankees hate each other. It's fun when you get old school rivalries. It's fun when you have teams that genuinely dislike each other. Personally, it's always annoying when you see
Jackson Merrill going on Mookie Betts' podcast. I'll say it. It's annoying.
It's always funny to me in baseball how they'll be at first and second base and they're just chopping it up with everyone. Like, hey,
God, Hosmer did that every freaking time.
Listen, you do what you want to do. I'm not telling guys how they're all friends. I get it. You would do the same thing if you were boys with Merrill, whatever it was. But it's fun when you see the disdain for each other that the fan bases have for each other then bleeds onto the field. I think it's a good thing for baseball, and it's a big storyline today in the middle of June.
You got Ben Verlander out there tweeting that this is the best rivalry in sports right now. He didn't say just baseball. He said sports, and he said put more of it into my veins. Our buddy Jamar on Twitter last night saying this has gone from rivalry to hatred, and I love it. This is what you want. If you're a fan of one of these teams, if you're a Padres fan, if you're a Dodgers fan, you want these series to mean as much to the guys on the field as it does to you sitting on your couch or you up in the stands. And for the first time, really, over the last, I don't know, outside of the postseason 2 years, last night felt like it. It felt like everyone cared a little bit more because of who they were playing on the other side. And the fights, sure, whatever. I think it's a little less of a big deal than you make it seem. But the way they're playing right now, like Xander Bogaerts, when's the last time we saw him swing about with confidence? Last night I saw it 4 times. Maybe something changes when you're playing against the Dodgers. All right, what's next, Sammy?
All right, NBA Finals. We haven't hit it yet today. Game 7. I mean, I can't wait for this thing. If the Pacers win this in Oklahoma City, is this the greatest postseason run in the NBA in history?
All right, so what? Were the Miami Heat a couple years ago with Jimmy Butler? They were an 8 seed that made it to the finals. Do I have that right?
That was a cool story, but they lost.
They did lose. Now, what were the Pacers coming into this finals?
The Pacers were 5. They were in the 4-5 series against the Bucks, and the crazy thing with the Pacers is there was a pick 'em against Milwaukee, and then they bet Milwaukee up. They were dogs going the Cleveland series, dogs going the Knicks series. In the Thunder were 7-1 favorites to win this thing.
Why didn't we put it down? I remember having the conversation on air saying plus 550. I love that number. We should have done it. You were just in Vegas.
Well, yeah, after Game 5.
Come on. But I would like to see the Pacers win. I would.
Everyone who wants the Thunder to win.
And I don't think it's going to be a situation where if OKC loses this game that they're going to completely blow it up and start it over. I think OKC is going to get a title within the next 5 years with this team. I really do think that. But the Pacers, the storyline, the team of destiny aspect, the Tyrese Halliburton becoming a superstar really overnight in this postseason. It's been a ton of fun to watch.
Real quick, who's got an easier road to get back to here next year?
OKC, no doubt.
See, Pacers. Oklahoma City has a gauntlet in the West. Oklahoma City's nice. They might be the favorite coming out, which rightfully so. But I mean,
they have to deal with Luka.
Kevin Durant. The Lakers about to get a center. By the way, we're about to get to in a second. Mark Walters' new CEO, which we didn't get to last week because it broke after our show.
During our show, we hit it.
The last segment. But I mean, the Lakers are going to be much better. The Spurs look like they're a potential kind of rising force in the West. Minnesota, it's not like they're going anywhere. The Warriors are going to run this back one more season.
Think about what it took for the Pacers to get here, though.
I know, but
multiple game-winning buzzer beaters.
Okay.
Crazy comebacks. How many 1 in 983 opportunities did the Pacers have
Tatum
this
is
year?
completely hurt for next year, and they're looking to trade Holiday and Brown. The Celtics are not getting the finals next year. The Cavs, thinking they're just going to run this thing back, they do not have enough shooters to get the NBA finals, and the Pacers are the ones that expose that. The Knicks have a brand new head coach. Literally, you're talking about the Magic adding Bane and getting Wagner back with the Wagner twins and Banchero probably being one of the top favorite up there. Miami, if they got Kevin Durant, there's some rumors that he's might go there. Could be pretty nasty. The Pacers, I think, in terms of getting to the finals, not that they're a better team, but getting to a finals would have a much easier road in the Eastern Conference than the Thunder would have in the West.
And OKC is still going to be deeper than everyone in the West. Like, that's just kind of how it goes. But Indiana literally has had 4 separate once-in-a-lifetime moments on this one postseason run. It's great. You don't do that 2 years in a row.
Yes, but everyone forgets. People talk about how great this Thunder run is. The Nuggets had them in Game 7 without a coach. Without a coach, they took them to Game 7. And yes, they got shellacked. But like the Thunder are so much better than everyone. I don't see it.
Well, they might be even better next year with a little postseason experience. That was the biggest drawback on them this year.
Wait till they lose Lou Dort.
Wait till they lose to the Lakers in the first round of the postseason next year.
Speaking of my Lakers.
Yeah, what about them?
Speaking of the Lake Show, Mark Walter owns 27% of the Dodgers, just bought from the Bus family, majority stake last week. He's already looking to upgrade a lot of the training facilities.
Was it $10 billion? He just shelled out $10 billion.
Highest purchase for a sports franchise in America. It might be globally, but I would check on that.
It was globally.
Okay. The Celtics went for 6.1. The Lakers went for 10. That's a win in and of itself. I mean, you're talking about...
That is the pettiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's a win in and of itself. Sit down, Boston. But, I mean, in terms of, listen, it's not baseball where the Dodgers can simply just spend more than everyone. There's a luxury, there's a salary cap, there's a tax. You have to trade contract for contract. But what this does do, it doesn't change the Luka contracts or the LeBron contracts, or they were going to get paid anyway.
Maybe they can hire Luka a private chef.
But Luka's looking skinny. You see him?
He looks great. Maybe Daddy Walter will pay for his nutritionist.
The Alex Carusos, the guys like that the Lakers have let go because of defense and the kind of guys that are solid players, but they're rotational players. You're not paying a max salary level players. The Lakers have been iced out on for the last while. I mean, they have lost KCP due to trade. They lost Alex Caruso. They let Zubac go out the door. Zubac would have been amazing for the Lakers to have last year. This is a massive thing. You can go into the luxury tax a little bit. This guy is one of the richest in the world. He can pay it. And we love the Bus family, what they've done for basketball and the growth of it. But they were one of the most poor owners in the entire NBA. It's crazy to think that owning the Lakers, they would be one of the most poor owners.
You could stop saying we on that stuff. You could just say you.
What do you mean you?
You said we love the Bus family. Who's we? Not me.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about our listeners.
Okay. Congratulations, Lakers. Daddy Warbucks is here.
Hey.
Congratulations, Los Angeles. You have even more money now.
You're going to be real surprised when my Lakers get a center here in about a week.
Yeah, with Dodger money. Good luck with that, dude. All right, San Diego Sports 760. Take a quick break here. On the other side, let's get back to the Padres-Dodgers. I do want to take a couple minutes and focus on what's happening in the NBA Finals. And the question for the text line is 70470. Start your message with team. It is popping off on Twitter right now. Triple G, Aaron Donald, street fight. Who wins? San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Back to Padres Dodgers in a second here. It's San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you. Billy Currington tickets coming up in less than 10 minutes, so stay here. We just got some breaking news out of the world of boxing. So this Terrence Crawford and Canelo fight is coming up. When's the exact date on that, Sammy?
September 13th at Allegiant.
September 13th at Allegiant Stadium. And just announced today from Ala Sheik, who is the promoter putting on this fight, says we will not have Tom and Jerry fights anymore. We will have in this fight and our next fights a bonus for a knockout. Big deal or not a big deal, Sammy?
It's a massive deal.
This is what Dana White does with the UFC, right?
Dana White's co-promoting the fight. That's why this idea comes from, and this kind of comes after, not to get too deep in the weeds, but the Times Square card with Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney was kind of a dud outside the Teofimo Lopez fight. There weren't really fireworks. It was pretty kind of a lot of jabs, a lot of defensive fighting. This fight sells itself because it's two of the best pound for pound fighters in the world, two of the best counter punchers in the world. Crawford can switch hit and go orthodox or southpaw. I mean, this is going to be amazing, moving up multiple weight classes, but it is fun. It is fun when you add the knockout element to it. The casual fans, the people who aren't maybe diehard boxing or UFC fans, want to see knockouts. They want to see stuff go viral, and to add a bonus to it, I don't know if either guy's getting knocked out because Canelo's never been put on the canvas. But if Crawford, I don't know if his power carries, but Crawford is technical and skilled enough.
What do you think that number would be? Is that a $100,000 bonus?
Oh, no.
Much more?
Well, for this fight, Canelo might be getting paid like $100 million, and Crawford might be getting like 30 or 40, something like that.
Dude, we should have been boxers, Sammy. What are we doing? It can't be that hard, right? It's got to be easy. Aaron Donald could totally knock out Triple G. That was the question for the text line, 70470. Start your message with team. There's a tweet going viral asking who would win in a street fight, Triple G or Aaron Donald in his prime Rams days. And so one of them, 5'10", 168. The other one, Aaron Donald, 6'1", 298. Who wins in a street fight? 949 text into the show, says Hurricane Hutta is knocking them both out.
Hurricane.
Dude. If you're not caught up on Love Island, you don't get that joke at all. If you're not caught up on Love Island, get caught up on Love Island. It is crazy, and it makes your wife happy when you take interest in something she would be into.
615 says, I think Aaron Donald would destroy Triple G with one punch. For those who argue that the talent and skill advantage outweigh brute strength, would they then say Kayla Harrison could have beat Aaron Donald in a fight based on the criteria? And if you want to say UFC is not the same as boxing, fine, then replace Kayla Harrison with Layla Ali. Okay.
So, Sam, this is a good question for you. You are steadfast that Triple G would knock out Aaron Donald because of the skill set, because of the boxing. Kayla Harrison, muscle mommy, in the UFC, she's more of a wrestler, less of a puncher, but would she be able to handle Aaron Donald?
I mean,
wow.
Well, it's hard.
Wow.
I mean, like you have like obviously physically, that's why you don't have female boxers fighting male boxers. That's not fair to the women, because that would, I mean,
so maybe the more apt analogy here is Kayla Harrison against Kelsey Plum, who's a WNBA
and
star.
Kelsey Plum would die.
Kelsey Plum would die.
I mean, it's, listen, with one punch, see, that's not happening. 615, like
Kayla Harrison doesn't knock out other UFC fighters with one punch.
The only shot Aaron Donald would have to beat Triple G is if he somehow got him on the ground and was like tackling, bear hugging him, where Triple G could not punch him, could not go after him. There is no shot that, first off, again, Triple G has taken straight shots from Canelo, straight right hands down the middle. He's not scared of Aaron Donald's right hand. I promise you.
We got Steve Hartman coming up in 7 minutes, so we'll keep this tight. But Padres Dodgers, obviously the 4-game series has come to an end. Out of the last 7 games these guys have played, the Padres have won 2 of them. One of them was a total punt job by the Dodgers back here in San Diego. And then yesterday, Dave Roberts was pulling guys as soon as the Padres got a lead. Thanks to Xander Bogaerts, by the way, which is kind of a forgotten storyline here in this game, because Xander went 4 for 4 yesterday with a homer and actually looked very comfortable and confident at the plate, which is the first time in months. Hopefully that continues. But the story of last night's game was what happened after Fernando Tatis Jr. got hit. Mike Schilt runs out. Dave Roberts runs out. Dave Roberts throws a little bit of an elbow Mike Schilt's way and pushes him. Now, Mike Schilt was on the Dodgers side of the field. If you want to call it like beard eye rules, you cross the line in the center. It's full contact sport, baby. But I do expect some punishment, or in way of a fine or a suspension, is coming towards Dave Roberts today, and that probably means it's coming to Mike Schilt as well. Ultimately, what happened last night has been simmering for 6.5 games. And then last night it simmered over a little bit. And Shohei Ohtani putting even more water on the fire that was a brewing, I think was kind of a soft move. These two teams are going to be fighting each other at some point. You know it's going to happen. Maybe it happens in August when they play each other next, but it was going to happen. And I personally would rather have suspensions handed down now rather than in the playoff hunt. But a lot of people saying that Shohei Ohtani has more intelligence in one bicep than I have in my entire body. I get that, but this thing's inevitable, it seems like to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's again.
Also, Major League Baseball's Twitter account saying Shohei the Peacemaker. What are we doing?
Well, like it's again, it's good for the sport. It's fun that we go back to this. How do you get some kid in Minnesota to care about Padres Dodgers? Why
them hate each other?
Have them hate each other. People go, wow, why do people love fighting, boxing, UFC? You pick one a woman or a man or whoever's fighting, and you go, I want them to win. I mean, it's fun when you see the vitriol and the hate. It's whatever you think about, kudos to Schilt for sticking up for his guys. You had to. I didn't think that the pitch was necessarily intentional from Little, but at the same time, he has been hit a ton by this Dodgers team. So it was impressive for Mike Schilt to get up there and do that. And listen, I'm kind of with Coach. I'm like, let's move on. Let's find them. Let's move on.
Come on.
You want Schilt and Roberts suspended for a week?
Oh, I thought you said you don't want fights.
No, I'm not saying I don't want fights at all. That's not what I'm saying. I love fights in baseball. I think it's fun for it. I'm saying in terms of suspensions and things, I would just move on from this. I think
both guys are getting fined.
Either because here's what Coach said: if you're going to suspend Roberts, then like the MLB unfortunately is going to have to suspend Schilt, even though it may not. Maybe he was sticking up for his guys. What you just said, crossing the line, crossing that side, both sides are going to get suspended. Listen, it's fun. It's a series of people hate each other. I wish though the Padres would show up a little bit more on the stat sheet and not just the headlines.
Steve Hartman coming up next. Right now, your opportunity to win a pair of tickets to go see Billy Currington live to celebrate Live Nation's $30 ticket to summer this Saturday, couple Saturdays from now, July 19th. At Gallagher Square at Petco Park. Make it a summer full of live music with $30 concert tickets to 1,000+ shows on sale now at livenation.com/ticket2summer. Caller number 6. You're going to see Billy Currington out at Gallagher Square. 877-767-4760. Phone lines are already jammed. Good luck if you're trying to get through. Caller number 6. You're going to go see Billy Currington. All right, Steve Hartman coming up next live on San Diego Sports 760 on the free iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by Straight Talk Wireless. Padres back for a 3-game set against the Royals, Kansas City Royals, at home this weekend from Petco. Game 1 tonight will be on 6:40 on Apple TV Plus. Special Friday night edition. Nick Pivetta will be going for the Padres, while Michael Lorenzo will be going for the Royals. And big news out of the NFL. Rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders cited twice in the last month for driving over 100 miles per hour. What are we doing, Shedeur? Straight Talk might not be on your shopping list, but it should be. Next time you're grabbing some milk off the shelf at your local Walmart, stop by the Straight Talk aisle and switch to real unlimited data. It's quick and convenient. It won't even take up room in your cart.
Beginning next Monday, San Diego Sports 760 has 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every single weekday with the bonus bucks giveaway every hour from 9 a.m. through 5 p.m. starting on Monday. Listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. We need to get back to that Shedeur Sanders conversation.
There's been so much to talk about today. There's so many stories.
The Shedeur Sanders one is wild, but we'll do that maybe coming up at 1:45. Right now, time to clear the deck, make the room, because the most legendary voice in all of Southern California, maybe the history of the world, sports talk. Legendary Steve Hartman is here. What up, Steve?
Coming from you, Fletch, and with you, Sammy, in the background, I could not be paid a higher compliment than what you just uttered. That is mind-blowing to me. Coming from you, Fletch.
I do think out of everybody in my lifetime, I've listened to more Steve Hartman radio than I think anyone, which might be a little
The Loose Cannons with you and Mike were my favorite show. I listened every single day.
I did too, because I was working 2 jobs at that time. And so my drive home, which sometimes was an hour and a half from La Jolla, which was nuts, was filled with just Steve and Mike. And that's it.
I mean, when Costa reached out to me to come back to San Diego, and who do we love more than Costa? Nobody. I mean, one of our all-time favorite people. I thought, can I come back to San Diego? And then when I got back, I was trying to remind myself, why did I leave San Diego? Please remind me why I left. Oh, that's right. I wasn't really given a choice at the time, but magical show, especially Mr. Costa, the best.
All right, Steve, let's get into it. Were you there last night? Were you at Dodger Stadium? Were you maybe feeding into Dave Roberts or Mike Schilt's ear that they should go out there and start punching each other?
All right, so the reason I was at the game, so my son Garrett and I went to the game. Garrett is a Dodger fan. He has admitted, had he stayed in San Diego instead of been moved up to L.A. by his family, he'd be a Padre fan. But he's a Dodger fan, and Mookie Betts is his favorite player. So it was Mookie Betts jersey night. Okay, they have these Mookie Betts jerseys, so that's why I specifically went to the game last night. So the game was dreadful. I mean, the Padres dominated the entire game, savage game in the series. And it's 5-0, and you're not really thinking, we know there's a little rift going on because, all of a sudden down goes Tatis. I mean, he gets hit and all hell breaks loose. And it was the weirdest fight ever, especially somebody, I guess, on TikTok was sitting directly behind home plate. So they were able to get the audio of what was going on because it was hard to see with literally all the players and managers and coaches all gathered in a mass behind home plate. Like, what is it, a fight? What's going on over there? And then, of course, when Suarez drills Ohtani on a 3-0 pitch, 100 miles an hour right on his shoulder, I was amazed that the benches didn't clear again.
Ohtani waved him back.
He did. I mean, I was saying Ohtani was waving like, let's not do this again. I mean, he's a peace-loving guy, obviously. I wanted to see the repeat of the greatest baseball fight of all time, which was 1984 between the Padres and the Braves. If you haven't seen it, ladies and gentlemen, go on YouTube. Padres Braves 1984. It literally is the greatest all-timer. 17 people ejected from that game. 17 people ejected from that game.
I'm going to throw out an argument. You tell me if this makes sense of why Shohei Ohtani might have really screwed stuff up for the remainder of this season by waving his team back. By waving his team back, he made it so ejections wouldn't happen on June 19th, but ejections are going to happen in August when teams are pushing for the playoffs, because this is going to boil over at some point. It already has boiled over, but it's going to lead at a fight at some point. It feels inevitable, doesn't it?
It does. But again, it's not going to involve Ohtani. I mean, here's the thing. You know how this works, guys. I remember knowing Tommy Lasorda back in the day. He maintains he never ordered a pitcher to throw at any batter, even in retaliation, which I know is a freaking lie. So managers lie about this. I can guarantee with Schultz, with Roberts, this idea of throwing at Tatis, throwing at Ohtani just doesn't happen by accident. You don't throw 100 miles an hour at Ohtani on a 3-0 pitch with first base open, okay? Unless there's a purpose to that, and that's why Shores was thrown out of the game. Where does this go from here? I don't really know. It'll be interesting to see if Major League Baseball steps in and says, okay, cease and desist, or, we're going to have suspensions. We're not just going to have ejections. We're going to have suspensions. They're going to have to do something drastic because, there's no doubt there is a lot of bad blood between these two teams. I love it. This is the way it should be. These are how rivalries are really born. And rivalries are good in sports to have that kind of animosity as the fans feel it. The place was half empty by the time the ninth inning rolled around, and the crowd where I was sitting just jumped up and went absolutely nuts. Kill the Padres, blah 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 blah. This is all good. This is good for Major League Baseball. But the way Ohtani waved it off, he's just not going to do it. But what happens if there's a tit for tat situation and he's on the mound? And they're looking at him like, you need to nail that guy. You need to throw at Tatis, and he refuses to do it. That could be a problem.
Steve, I was about to get you kind of answered it, but follow up on that. Like, should MLB lean into this, considering Yankees Red Sox was always the kind of premier rivalry for years, and now it feels like Padres Dodgers is really kind of overtaking it?
You see, here's the thing, Sammy. Old school baseball, you just took care of your own business. That's just the way it was. It was accepted back in the old days about pitchers throwing at hitters, and you rarely saw hitters charge the mound. They would take their medicine, and I'll get you next time around. You just took care of your own business, and that's just not the world we live in anymore. People just don't accept that kind of violence. You can't be throwing 100 miles an hour. You could hurt somebody. Nobody talked about that back in the old days. So, Major League Baseball, I guess I'm going to, obviously after a game like this where there have been multiple ejections, the umpires will file a report. Major League Baseball, what happened here? Why are there all these ejections from this game? What exactly was going down? Umpires will file a report. I believe there will be some public statement made, especially with high-profile teams like the Dodgers and the Padres that could, who knows, meet up again in the playoffs. We've seen it several times. These two teams matched up in the playoffs in recent years. That this will cease and desist. And the only way for it to happen is that the next time it won't be an ejection; it'll be a suspension.
Yeah, and there may be suspensions handed down today, Steve, and it may come in the form of
it could happen. It could happen, and that's one way to deal with a situation like this is you got to play tough.
One or both coaches may end up getting suspended today. Buster Olney was talking about that a little bit earlier. Nothing is official has been handed down yet. All right, we've talked a ton about Padres Dodgers. Let's switch over to the NBA Finals, Steve, because we are getting a Game 7. I don't think we always were going to be getting a Game 7, but after the Pacers' performance last night, kind of a flu game-esque performance from Tyrese Halliburton, we are getting a Game 7. Where do you think this one goes?
Well, first of all, you talked about the performance, Fletch, of how about the performance of OKC? You talk about mailing in a game. What was that? I never felt like they were ever into winning this game. The bench was a 0 as usual. Chet Holmgren, where is this guy?
I believe Sammy called him booty.
Talk about overrated. In fact, everything about OKC in this series has been overrated. They have been huge favorites in all 6 games, whether it's been at home, on the road. They have been huge favorites. They were a 68-win team in the better conference going against the 4 seed in the East. And now we have a Game 7. Now, here's the good news for OKC. There have been 19 Game 7s in NBA Finals history. The home team has won 15 of the 19. Here's the bad news. The last team to have the home court in a Game 7 was the 2016 Golden State Warriors, and they lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers after their 73-win season. Look, I've been picking OKC all along, but one thing I realized as I watched the NBA Finals, how much did I see of this team? I didn't see that many because they were never on TV. They have the Lakers on, they have the Celtics on, the usual suspects. We never really got to see a team that was, one of these, 68 wins, winning by an average margin, 12, 13 points a game. I am so underwhelmed by OKC. I will dare say this, even though I picked OKC all the way, I'm rooting for Indiana. They play hard. They have a bunch of reject players. They have a reject coach. Just about everybody on this team started their career somewhere else and were deemed expendable. Is how they became Indiana Pacers. So yeah, even though I picked OKC to win this series, I'm rooting for Indiana on Sunday.
Steve, as someone who is the premier voice in Southern California sports, Steve Hartman, what do you think about Mark Walter taking over the Lakers and the Buss family out?
Okay, well, this is good news for the Lakers. I mean, look, with all due respect, I've known Jeannie Buss forever. I love her dearly, but she's been a miserable failure overseeing this franchise. I mean, the record speaks for itself. Ever since the death of Dr. Buss, this is a franchise that has gone right in the toilet. They claimed their championship in 2020, in the bubble championship. It barely, if it all counts. And so they've been a miserable failure under the post-Dr. Buss regime. And now they got someone that's got money. This is great news for Luka Doncic because we know with the Dodgers and this ownership group that they'll spend whatever it takes. They don't care about luxury taxes. They won't care about it in the NBA. So this could not be better news for the Laker organization and for Luka Doncic in particular, because they will go and spend the money no matter how much it's going to cost in terms of luxury tax to put together a championship team. They're committed to that. They've shown it with the Dodgers. They'll show it with the Lakers. So if you're a Laker fan, nothing better could have happened. And by the way, no disrespect to the Buss children, but remember this. When Dr. Buss died, he made it clear he has 6 children, the 4 older ones, the 2 little Humpty and Dumpty guys. And he basically said, individually, you cannot sell your shares. It has to be as a group. And that's exactly what they're doing. So now people that understand that spending money is the recipe to give you the best opportunity to win a championship, this is going to be a good thing for the Lakers moving forward.
Steve, someone asked me this earlier today, and I did not know what the right answer would be. But someone asked if the Cowboys were to sell today, would they be worth more than the Lakers?
Yes.
By how much?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. According to many sources, the Dallas Cowboys are the most valued professional sports team in the world.
Right.
Yes,
we've heard
more
that.
than Manchester United. I mean, we've heard that. So, when you talk about value, it's just like anything else. How much are you willing to pay? I mean, there's always a theory of like, okay, this team is worth X amount of dollars. When Steve Ballmer bought the Clippers from Donald Sterling, they were valued at $500 million, and he spent $2 billion on them, which, by the way, raised the value of every other team in the NBA. So it's just, you could ultimately, if the Cowboys were to be sold, which they won't, but if they were, yes, they would get the highest asking price for any franchise ever. No doubt about that.
Steve, you see,
you're including the stadium and everything else.
Oh yeah. Steve, did you see Shedeur Sanders getting pulled over? We got video of it now, 101 miles per hour.
Yes, I just saw it. And again, when you are entrusting a team with a quarterback, part of being a leader is to be judged on your ability to make great judgments. And for a kid traveling at that speed, not unprecedented. Fortunately, he's alive to tell about it. But at the same time, it would call into question, does he have the maturity to lead an NFL team? And I would say after this incident, that is a huge question mark moving forward. Because if you're a veteran player and this kid walks into a huddle and say, hey, I know what's best for us. And like, dude, you don't even know how to handle your own business. Why are we trusting you to be the leader of this team? And you can't be an effective quarterback in the NFL unless you are truly a leader of that team. So this is a big setback for Shedeur Sanders in his effort to become a leader for this Cleveland Browns team.
He's also running that truck way too hot. He's driving such a nice Ram truck, and he's running it way too hot.
That's what you got at this point.
Second time in a month, he's taking that thing over 100 miles an hour. You got to be careful with those. Steve, thank you for your time, my friend.
Oh my God! Every time we just get warmed up, Okay, guys,
calm down and do a full show.
And again, for those people listening for the first time, you have tuned into the top sports radio show in the entire San Diego market. John and Jim, I love you guys, but I'm sorry. you're up against it now with Sammy and Fletch. These guys have taken their game to a whole different level.
Steve, come on down, do a full show, and then we can
Please,
get
a
warmed
whole
up.
show.
We can burn out. We could have the whole range of emotions.
We'll figure it out this summer. I promise, guys. I'll be down in San Diego.
All right, Steve-O, there he goes. Steve Hartman, truly one of the best voices in the history of sports radio, period. End of discussion. Hopefully Steve writes a book sometime soon. All right, final break of the day. When we come back, we'll recap long shots. We'll also kind of dig into the Shedeur Sanders thing a little bit. That was a nice little entree Steve just gave us. Let's dig in and take a bite out of it because I got more thoughts on this, believe it or not, and I am pretty lockstep with Steve Hartman.
Is the greatest.
Dude, that bus family stuff. Put that online immediately.
That's getting clipped immediately.
Steve Hartman, the voice of winning times, talking match smack.
Oh, how did we not bring up winning time?
We probably should have. All right,
Damn.
take a quick break. On the other side, we'll close this thing up. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, we got 5 minutes left here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. A ton of text to get to. Let's start with the 858. A gang leader once held his own against Muhammad Ali in the ring. In a street fight, Aaron Donald would have a pretty good chance against Triple G. Bear hug him, bite his ears and nose off. Street fight, you can pull hair and eye gouge too. All good points.
All good
Sammy.
points. Also, we've had a lot. Vito hit us on. I'm trying to find to look up what happened when Juliana Pena, when she tried to fight a dude who was a line cook. Kayla Harrison is dying versus Donald. Listen. Listen,
Vito, come on.
Vito.
Also, Sammy, come on.
Should I not have read that?
Probably not. 615.
What's wrong with that?
I think the real question we all want to know is who would win in a fight between Brock Purdy and Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I mean, come on. Now.
Was Mahomes born in Texas, or you just go to school in Texas?
He's born in Texas, but I mean,
I probably got Mahomes there.
I mean, he won a Super Bowl over Brock Purdy. So
I'm fighting.
He won a Super Bowl over Brock Purdy, so I assume he win in a boxing match as well.
951 Larry Joe here. Because I live in the Inland Empire, that's considered part of the Los Angeles marketing area, so I'm stuck watching these Padre Dodger games and the Dodgers telecast. They were just raving about how Ohtani handled being hit yesterday. His approach to being hit just adds to the mystique and aura around the player that Ohtani is. By him reacting that way, he did just show the Padres dugout that it didn't bother him. Look, part of my problem with Ohtani reacting that way is because, like, dude, get down in the mud with the rest of us. Everyone on those two teams was ready to throw down. And Ohtani has to be the peacemaker, the perfect child. He really is the perfect child.
I'm with that until Ohtani and Tatis break their hand throwing punches.
Sammy, stop using logic.
No, I'm just saying.
Talk about the fun. Doesn't have to be fist fights. It can be tackle fights.
Guess what happens to the MLB ratings when Ohtani and Tatis aren't there?
Fine. 858. Steve's right. You guys really are taking over SD Sports Radio.
Thank
Most fun
you,
show in sports. The 858, that really does mean a lot. Definitely not getting me choked up at all. Man,
Yeah,
we are taking this thing to the moon. Stick with us the whole way, 858, please. Sammy and I plan on doing this for another, 70, 80 years?
70, 80, until we keel over. But
Somewhere in there.
no, seriously, it means a lot. Appreciate everyone who's tuning in. I believe we got like 650 on the stream. And
look at that.
I mean, just we love all you guys. Seriously, I mean, it means a lot that you spend a little bit of your day with us midday. Well, you guys got a lot of stuff going on.
Rich says Hartman's pushing for a third hour for Sammy and Fletch.
You hear the shot he took at John and Jim?
I mean, it makes sense.
I'm gonna cut that and send it to Jim, and Jim will be like, "Oh, what? Huh?
Dude,
Shut up, bro.
Why are you even having Steve on?"
Yeah, dude.
Steve's the best.
Exactly,
dude. What Steve said about Genie Bus.
I was laughing the entire commercial break.
If you missed what Steve Hartman, who was like Mr. Laker for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Steve Hartman, who for sure owes part of his career to Dr. Jerry Buss.
Of course.
Was flaming Jeannie Buss in the way that she has managed the Lakers over the last, what do you say, 25 years?
Yeah, the
Lakers have won like 5 championships in the last 25 years, dude.
My favorite part about Steve, we're gonna clip it for those who missed the last segment, but is he starts it off, I'm like, what do you think about Mark Walter? He goes, Jeannie, close personal friend, lover, but let me explain something to you. Abject disaster. What has happened?
I've known Jeannie her whole life. I love her to death. She's awful at her job.
Steve has a way of building you up and cutting you down if you're in the middle.
It's a good thing we hung up on him after he got done saying all the nice stuff about us. He was about to say these two are the biggest turds in the industry.
Exactly. Remember him in Winning Time? For those who don't know, Winning Time, the HBO show, Steve was in that. He was
the voice in the radio when everyone was driving around.
It wasn't it Magic or was it Kareem that Hartman's just bashing back in the day? And Magic's like, Hartman, then he's like cussing him out in the car.
Dude, it's fun. Steve Hartman is truly one of a kind, one in a million, and I'm so happy we have him on every single Friday at 1:30. All right, did we ever get resolution on Aaron Donald Triple G? Because I'll be honest, the text line is making me move back towards Aaron Donald.
The text line is surprisingly all on Aaron Donald. I'm firmly on Triple G. I don't think that it did. You can't just run in on a pro fighter.
So somebody did DM me a video of Aaron Donald slow motion running down Tom Brady. I'm telling you, Aaron Donald's a freaking freight train, dude. You might want to get out of the way before that thing splatters you all over the tracks.
But this is what, like, he's not slipping a punch from Triple G.
Okay, but think about it. If it is, all right, so street fight, I'm imagining they start on opposite ends of like a curb or something, and then somebody like Sammy's in the middle going, all right, ready,
go.
If Aaron Donald gets a running head start, I don't know, dude.
Fletch, Triple G.
Even if there's some punch coming, if he's running,
Triple G is standing there.
If they both have boxing gloves on, sure, it's Triple G.
It doesn't matter how many muscles you have until you get hit in the chin. It doesn't matter. Your lights go out. You're done. Your body. If you get hit in the back of the head, the equilibrium. You saw this Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz, local guy, actually San Diego.
He just opened up a pizza spot in San Diego.
Trying to get him on the air, by the way. He hit Joshua in the back of the head. Joshua couldn't even stand up. His body shut down. That's what would happen to Aaron Donald. And it's not disrespect to Aaron
Donald's pretty fast, dude. It's like one of the most athletic dudes ever. All right, that's it for us today. Fun Friday show, everybody. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Thank you, everyone, for being here.
The Dodger Padres stuff was awesome, man. If you missed anything from today, it's up on the podcast. People were pissed at me in the first segment. People were pissed at Sammy at the end of the show. I consider that a good day. So we're going to be done.
Exactly.
Wish me luck. I'm going to what will be by far the drunkest wedding in the history of the world.
I forgot about what. Did you have a resolution of the sweat?
I bought a suit. I'm going to wear the suit. We'll see what happens. I'm just rolling with it at this point.
Going to look very dapper tomorrow.
All right. See y'all on Monday. John and Jim coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.